I had to come back to the spot I was at in my last video, and what I'm doing now is the river's even lower, so I'm just raking some stuff.
Not a terribly old med here, probably 30s or 40s, but it still has the lid on it, and I tend to keep things that have the lids. I try to look where I believe the current takes things, and I just sort of scratch around with my rake or my pick until I get onto something. People pay to have the look of an old faucet. This is an old faucet, and it is made out of like solid brass. I tested it after I cleaned it up, and the thing actually still works. This turns out to be a truly amazing beer bottle with a lot of age. Even before it's cleaned off, you could see some of those bubbles in the glass.
Holy crap. That's a big deal. Holy cow.
Can you spot the medicine bottle? Little corktop perfume. Old ketchup bottle. And what's this hiding under here but another beer bottle? New grape soda, 1920. This here is a truly amazing find. I had to remove about a foot of debris, and then when I saw it and touched it in place, I knew that it must be whole because it wouldn't budge. So whenever you have something like this, you got to be very careful. Clear out as much debris as you can on all sides before you try to move it. Now, I don't know what this is. It's made out of clay. It's either a vase, a chamber pot, another spittoon. It's in the same area where I found the other spittoon. And what you will see in a minute here, there's a salt glazed stoneware right above it. You can see that little white piece of debris that is to the upper right of where this clay piece is, and that'll come out later. But with those kinds of things with stoneware on there, there's a good chance that this goes back into the late 1800s, so we want to be really careful. A little bit more, and that should come right out. After the recovery, it was found that there wasn't a chip on this thing, and it actually had some of the original paint, which we'll see later on the cleanup. And there it is. And you wouldn't be able to tell because of all the blackness on there. It actually has a very nice image of a crane on it and floral pattern, which will be evident after we clean things up at the end of the video. But what an amazing find this is.
Look at that. It's an old clay pot. I don't even know where to begin. Look, it's definitely handmade. What else is in this hole? I think I see a crock down here. If this is whole like that pot, this is a really good day. Let's go check it out.
And you could see the hole the clay vase came out of below the stoneware. And like I said, a lot of times the salt glazed stoneware or crockery, it's 1800s. And this thing, it come out perfect too, not a chip on it.
Look at this thing. That looks handmade. It's salt glazed. Yeah, we got a little crock here. Unbelievable.
Here's a little food jar. Silver plated. Early slick cork top. Old knob and tubing electrical component. Another cork top med with cork. Still has the medicine in it, probably whiskey and maple syrup. What an adventure this is turning out to be. When's the last time somebody used a glass drinking straw? What a day, and here we have another old beer.
Alright.
Somebody forgot to put the stopper back in. $120-year-old checker piece.
Look at that. My goodness. How did this stuff survive?
This turns out to be one of the cleanest, ball-perfect masons I've ever found.
That's what it's called. The shell called. Oh, it is whole. Look at that. Oh. Now, first there. There's a whole hit of whiskey. Times ketchup from 130 years ago. What else is in here? we got something here. This is interesting.
Let me translate. Chero-cola.
Good stuff. We got something here. What's this? That is a gold bar. What is this? That is a ketchup. Looks like a hog.
What a collection. Clay pots, stoneware, old beers, old sodas. Let's do a cleanup. Alright, cleanup time. We'll start with this ball mason. This came out really clean and in good condition. By the font, this is 1900 to 1923. A really good example here. Then we got the Heinz ketchups. There's one here and one here. And based off of the pattern and comparing this online, I believe that these were made in 1908. They do have H.J. Heinz embossed on the bottom. Very old ketchup bottle. Then we got the Capstan, if I'm pronouncing it right, glass company, and they made food containers for like jellies and stuff. This is a nice short one that has their symbol here. And these were made in Connellsville, Pennsylvania from 1919 to 1938. And we have another little one over here. That's a really good look at the embossing on the bottom of that. The spoon, definitely silver plated. It is stamped with silver plated on the back. Brass buckle, and this might be a shoe buckle. If anyone out there knows any different, let me know. But I'm guessing that's a brass shoe buckle that has a lot of age. Krantz Beer. This beer company was from 1898 to 1919. Has the name embossed, and Findlay, Ohio. No other markings, and yeah, I got it as clean as I could. So nice old beer bottle, about 120 years old. Then the Haydenville Company. I would guess, again, about 120-year-old faucet, brass faucet. And the funny thing about this is I was running water through it, and this thing still works. I opened it up, and then I closed it, and it worked just as you would expect. And it has the, I don't know if you can see it, right there with the maker mark right on the front of this. So that was an interesting find. Cleveland Sandusky Brewing Company, started in 1897. Judging by the look of this beer bottle, and you have the C, Cleveland, S, Sandusky, and B. That's what the embossing is. This is probably going to be around 1910, and it has the Cleveland Sandusky Brewing Company embossed on the bottom as well. So another nice old beer, probably 110 years old or more. Then what else do we have? Look through my notes. Chero-cola. Here is a soda water. You see Chero-cola Bottling Company, Ravenna, Ohio. And these are, it has the patent number and everything, but I'm going to have to guess on the age of this, and I'm going to say right around 1910. Has heavy caseware, but otherwise a complete example of a Chero-cola. Let's see, P.J. Ritter. This is another one right around 1910, and this is another ketchup bottle compared to the Heinz bottles back there. Just another ketchup company. It would have had, of course, a paper label on it. Then we got Bell and Company Incorporated. A very nice amber bottle. There we go. Bell and Company Inc., and that's Orangeburg. New York City, or New York, USA. And then on the opposite side, Bell Ans, or ANS. And what this was for was indigestion. It is a cork top, and the seam stops before it goes all the way up. I have reason to believe that these bottles are 1897 to 1909. That's what I'm guessing. Nice amber bottle. And this one was left behind by another bottle searcher. It was actually right where I looked for bottles. Somebody must have recovered it and just set it off to the side and forgot about it. So it finds a place in my collection. Very good. Okay, M. Burkhardt Brewing Company. This is a really nice beer. I would say probably 120 years old. M. Burkhardt started in 1902, and this looks like it would have been one of the earlier ones, as this mold seam stops before it goes all the way to the top. It is a crown top, and these were like mid-1890s, I think, when they started making these. But all the bubbles in this thing, if you could look at the bubbles, I'll just give it a turn. Bubbles and imperfections all over the place. And this nice example of property of the M. Burkhardt Brewing Company in Akron, Ohio, registered. What a nice example this was, and it really did clean up. It says the RC and B Co. I was unable to reference that one in my book to get a definitive date. So what a fine example we have of a 120-year-old beer. Outstanding. So what else do we have? We had a bunch of fragments of plates. I'll just show you a couple of these. I always bring them back just to kind of research them. One piece did have some information on the back, and that's right here. And what that says is Edwin W. Knowles, China Company. This China Company started in 1900, so it's right around the theme of all this other stuff that we found. Now, what else? Don't know what this little brassy thing is, but it was interesting. If you know, let me know. Couple sinkers. Another one of these, possibly a clay marble. It's kind of rough though, but I've been finding a lot of these. If you know what that is, let me know. Knob and tubing. This was for the old style electric in a home. You would pound that through the floor joists and then run your electric through there. So we have one of those. We have an old bathtub or sink plug with a brass ring, and it appears that the brass ring goes through a piece of lead. There's lead in there, at least that's what it looks like, so I'm guessing right around 1900 for that. Nice little marble here, and it kind of looks fractured and everything, but it's really smooth. So I don't know if it was made to look like that, but it's a nice old marble. Here's a cork top perfume, and this one still has the little cork inside, and the mold seam goes all the way up to the top, so we're looking probably just after 1900. Then we have an old cork top where the mold seam stops right here, and it's pretty primitive and very thin in some places. Not sure what was in that, but it's a nice little cork top. A checkers piece. I thought this was possibly made out of clay. Let's try to get it to focus. You could see the crown, and it's like crystallized. If it's not clay, it's like a primitive, like bakelite or bakelite, whatever you want to call that. But regardless, that is a really old checkers piece right there. You could clearly see that crown. What else? What else? Yes. Here's this salt glazed stoneware, and it is absolutely perfect in all its imperfections. Whoever made this, you know, you have little blobs here, little blobs there. This was glazed over, so that's just how it was when they made it. I love all the imperfections in this thing. It's outstanding. It has like a little recess here, here, and here. Not sure. Maybe that was made to nest on something. I don't know. Very clean on the inside, and I'm going to say this was handmade. You could see down there, there's little imperfections just sticking out, and they were all glazed over. What a beautiful little crock that is. And that leads me to this right here. I was not expecting this. Look at this clay whatever. Is it a vase? Is it a chamber pot? Is it a spittoon? I have no idea. But I have reason to believe that in the area it was found, it's probably 1890 to probably 1910, somewhere around there. In fact, you saw in the video, the stoneware here was practically on top of it, and I actually had to dig about a foot down in that area to get to this. So it was deep, and you could see really clear. There's a nice crane on here, and there's green paint that's still on here. At one time this was green, and you could see that green paint a little bit on the inside as well. Also, I don't know if you'll be able to make it out, but right here at the tip of my finger, there was a little bit of gold and some gold here. So the crane, if that's what that is, looks like it might have been gold at one time or having gold accents. And this pattern goes all the way around. What's unusual about this is its design. I don't know about clay manufacturing. Here's the bottom, and it has a seam. And the seam goes all the way up. But of course there's no seam on the inside. So I'm thinking that maybe the inside part was made first. As you could see, where is it? It looks like maybe the inside was made and then they put something on over it and then baked it on. I have no idea. If you know, then let me know. But there's a seam on the outside, no seam on the inside. Maybe they smoothed it out on the inside. But isn't that incredible? How often do you find things like this? I found a handful of complete, intact, not a chip on it. How does it survive? It was under rocks and debris and mixed in with bottles and everything else. I couldn't even tell there was a bird on there. It had so much stuff on it. Not until later, when I was looking at it at home, was it evident that it had such designs. So yeah, with this with stoneware right on top of the thing, it could go into the 1800s. I would like to hope. If it isn't that, probably just after 1900. I would say, without a doubt, this is probably, well, without a doubt, and probably kind of conflict, but I would guess well over 100. Incredible. So that's that. And you don't find things like that every day. If you know what it is or a little bit about its manufacturing, please let me know. I'm interested. I'm still trying to research it. And was there anything else other than a couple jars here? A newer screw top medicine. I only picked it up because it has the screw top lid on it. I saved those. So don't want to forget the new grape. The new grape. I've been chasing this. If you watched my last video, I said, I finally found one without a crack in it. Oh, because I've been looking and I've been finding them and they're all blown out. This one has a crack. The one without the crack, I'm still working on another video. You'll see that one in my next video. But here this thing is again, a new grape, and these are from March 3rd, 1920. Right on the bottom is when this pattern of bottle was made. I'll be able to throw all these things in the recycle bin because I do have a perfect example of this that you'll see on my next video. So with that, oh, and a glass straw. When's the last time people used glass straws? Was this for medicine? Did it go into a cork top medicine? And oh yeah, got a couple of these cork tops. This one on the right, the seam goes all the way to the top, and it has its cork in it. This one here also had the cork right here, and it has a mold seam that stops, so this is slightly older, probably late 1890s, and of course they would have paper labels. Am I forgetting anything else? Because there was quite a bit of things. No, I think that's everything. So I hope to see you on my next video, and until then, happy hunting.